Hello, everyone, and I'm truly honored to receive the Julian Stein Achievement Award through the SHAPE. I certainly want to thank the awards committee, including Deborah and Andy, for all their hard work. And it's truly an honor to receive this award, and I'm truly touched by receiving this award. I certainly want to thank my the former department chair, Dr. Tiffany Vargas from Cal State Long Beach, and my good friend and colleague, Dr. Melissa Bittner, who nominated me for this award. It's been very rewarding to work with Melissa over the last few years and watch her grow professionally. And I know that the AP program at Cal State Long Beach is in really capable hands now that I've retired, and I'm looking forward to its continued growth. I wanted to thank a number of people who had a huge impact on my career over the years and have really given unwillingly of their time and helped me. And I've always felt this sense of community with the AP profession, and the people in the profession have just so much energy, and many of us have always been willing to give back and to share. And this is what makes our program very unique. And I've often wondered why that is. And I believe that it's because as a profession, sometimes we've been marginalized, and we feel like we have to work harder and better than many of the other professions. And so this is both a curse and our superpower. I feel very fortunate to have gone through the AP profession when Public Law 94-142 had just started. It was a very exciting time, and many of us who went through the profession during that time benefited through the federal funding and received our PhDs, and a lot of us are retiring or will retire, and it's up to the next generation of AP professionals to continue to advance the field, and I'm really confident that they will. So that's the message that I want to share today, is that how the AP profession is unique and willing to give back. Now, looking back on my profession, I didn't seek out Adaptive P. Adaptive Physical Education found me. I was a graduate at Eastern Illinois University, received my master's degree, and I interviewed for a job to teach physical education and coach basketball and cross country. And when I went for the interview, I found out and learned that I would be teaching physical education to 75 children with intellectual disabilities. And at the time, the special ed director shared with me that there was this new law, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, and this would be a great opportunity for me. So I took the job. It was 2 days before Labor Day weekend. I needed a job badly, but I immediately fell in love with the challenges that the AP job presented, and most importantly, the 75 children with intellectual disabilities that I worked with. And like many of us, I was figuring it out as I went along. And I think you'll agree, you can really learn a lot about yourself as an educator when you work with children with disabilities. So I started to read everything I could about adapted physical education, which was pretty limited in those days and really steeped in rehab. That summer, I had the opportunity, because I had written a grant, to develop a curriculum guide for my district to teach physical education to persons with intellectual disabilities. And so at the time, I contacted Dr. Julian Stein, who was the coordinator of the units for physical education for the handicapped, which was the clearinghouse for all things adapted physical education. And Julian was very gracious with his time with me over the phone and offered to provide me with feedback on my curriculum guide. And I got a very detailed 2-page letter from him that I still have today. And that letter was very positive, but also challenged me to consider some other concepts that I hadn't included in the curriculum guide. And looking back at that letter, some of those concepts are still relevant today. And what Julian did for me was not unique. He was the person in those days that helped many, many people. And he really shaped many of the concepts, and also was the person who really shaped the policies that are still prevalent today in adapted physical education. So this award means a lot to me. The third year I was teaching physical education in Illinois, I had the opportunity to do my first workshop presentation with Dr. Carl Eichstead, who's now retired at Illinois State. And he encouraged me to go back and work on my PhD. He also mentored me in the publishing game. The first few years I was in higher ed, we wrote a textbook together. It was the first time I'd ever written a textbook, and he really mentored me through that process. So I went to the University of New Mexico to work on my PhD, and I had two great advisors, Dr. Frank Bapsey, 98 years old, who's still feisty as ever, and like he was as a faculty member, and Dr. Ernie Lang, who really challenged me in my ability to write and also to be a critical thinker, and really mentored me at conferences and introduced me to many people in the profession. At that time, there were two doctoral students that I worked with, Ron Croce and also Jim DePape. And over many beers, we would talk about the profession, and we just couldn't wait to get out there, and we were going to set the world on fire. While I was writing my dissertation on behavior management, I was really struggling with some concepts. And based on my review of literature, this one name just kept coming up, Dr. Ron French. And so I just contacted him out of the blue over the phone, and we had this long conversation. He really helped me with a number of concepts. And he also sent me a packet of information regarding unpublished dissertations that he had shared and unpublished papers, and a note on there that said, hey, when you put your first 3 chapters together for your proposal, send it to me and I'll give you feedback on it. And little did I know this was going to be the beginning of a long 30-year friendship. He also, the next year, introduced me to one of his former students, Hester Henderson, and that was the start of a 30-year writing team. And 3 editions of the behavior management textbook, we're still talking to each other, so that's a really good thing. As a young faculty member at Long Beach State from 1992 to 1997, I served on the Adaptive PE National Standards Committee, which was the steering committee, which was charged with developing the standards. And I was always amazed at Luke Kelly's vision and his leadership with our 7-member committee, which consisted of Jan Seaman and Monica Lepore and Willie Gale, who's now passed away, also Mike Luvis, John Dunn, and myself. Also at that time, Tim Davis was a doctoral student at UVA, and he'd be running around making Xeroxes and overheads, and hey, Dr. Bittner, I'll explain what those words mean later. So that was just a great experience and really shaped my thinking for the rest of my career and what information that I would provide to my pre-service and in-service students. I certainly want to recognize all the great faculty members and university students that in my 35 years in higher ed that I've worked with. I'm very, very proud of the fact that I've been involved in certifying over 400 AP teachers in Southern California. And many of them who are alumni are always willing to assist and give back and mentor our current university students in their field work and student teaching. Finally, I want to recognize my mother and father who at an early age instilled the importance of an education and how important that was. And I remember when I graduated from Plymouth State University in New Hampshire, I thought they were going to be giving me a stereo system for my graduation present. And instead, they gave me a membership to AFERD, which I still have now, my SHAPE membership. So that was great. And then to my wife, Penny, and to my 2 daughters, Nicole and Danielle, they really make life special. I certainly want to thank them. And I met Penny the second year I was teaching adaptive PE. It was her first year. She was the special ed teacher there. And this summer we'll be married 40 years. So she always keeps me in check and makes sure that I understand what's important in life and makes it special. So finally, to everybody in the audience that's attending the conference, enjoy the rest of the conference and go back, whether you're in higher ed or in the public schools, and continue to do the good work that you do in providing quality physical activity experiences to children with disabilities. And don't ever forget what we do is extremely important. So thank you again for this award. I'm truly touched. Thank you.